Hello YouTube, G4TV is cool here. Here I have a deck profile for you guys. It's Jewel Knights. I want to say Happy New Year's to everybody and all my subscribers for watching my videos. I really appreciate it very much. I do promise to add more Yu-Gi-Oh videos to this channel because a lot of you pretty much you don't watch Vanguard or play Vanguard at all. You guys pretty much subscribe to my channel for Yu-Gi-Oh goodness. So I will do that actually, since right now the ban list is actually getting a little bit better. E-Dragons, they died a little bit. But somebody will find a way to make them good again. I just know it. But I think right now they're pretty much dead. You can't really play E-Dragons with just one dragon each. That's pretty much saying goodbye. Anyway, here's the deck profile for you guys. Jewel Knights. Jewel Knights is actually a really good deck. I enjoy playing it. I actually been pulling a lot of the Jewel Knights as seen in my other team videos. So yeah, let's get started before it gets up to the 5 or 6 minute mark. I play, my starter is one Tiffany. She's basically a forerunner. You put her to rear guard, and then you put her into the soul, and you give 2 rear guard Jewel Knights plus 3k. She's actually a pretty decent starter, but honestly, when set 14 rolls around, I'm probably going to replace her for the different Jewel Knight starter, because it's an AK booster, which can hit a lot harder than this thing. But, you know, having rear guards hit 21k columns isn't too bad either. But honestly, I'd rather run the other starters. Set 14 is going to have a lot better Jewel Knight support than most of the other sets, because in order to really build a full competitive Jewel Knight deck, you really have to ride a Mega Trial deck, which is annoying. At least for set 14, it's going to have a little bit more variety. As for the Great 3s, the 4 Ashleys, a lot of people say Ashley is not a good break ride. I disagree actually, because I think Ashley's can be a really good break ride because she just applies a lot of pressure to your opponent. Like, okay, fine, I'll ride MLB on top of her, give him 20k and extra crit. Oh, look, I have Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark. A lot of K. That's about 32k and extra crit. Oh, and don't forget the rear guard boost. That's 40k and an extra 3 crit. Yikes. Have no perfect guard? GG. And here's Salome. Salome is basically an MLB, but she superior calls rear guards. And the only problem with her limit break is that you have to have 4 rear guards with Jewel Knight in her name, which honestly isn't hard to do for Jewel Knights. They superior call like crazy, and she also does the same, where she can superior call any Jewel Knight from the deck, which is pretty good, because then you can thin out your deck and call Ashley, so that way you don't have to worry about drive checking into an Ashley when you don't need her. As for the Great 2s, I run Forge Tracy, 3 Sybil, 1 SP, 4 Owens, and 2 Galatines. Now, the Tracy's are basically the 12k hitters of the deck. The only problem with her is that you have to have 3 or more rear guards with Jewel Knight in her name in order for her to activate. That's the only problem with her, because she's not like other 12k hitters that just say, hey, I can be 12k as long as I have a Vanguard that has the same name, or Liberator, Eradicator, and all that other stuff. It's just, she's pretty good still regardless, because having a full field is not that hard for this deck. Sybils, they're basically superior callers from the deck. You just kind of blast 2, superior call 1 grade 1 or lower Jewel Knight from your deck. Oh no, grade 1 or less, yeah, Jewel Knight from your deck. Which is not too bad, because then you can superior call a 10k hitter behind her, just in case, or a counter blast 1 plus 1k Jewel Knight. The cool thing about her is that you can call her to any open rearguard circle. You don't have to call it behind her, which is pretty good. I like her ability for that. 2 Owens, just because they're 2 8k Jewel Knight rearguards, or 2 8k Jewel Knights that basically gain 3k whenever they're attacking. She's overall really good it's a really good rear guard actually attacker if you have more rear guards than your opponent, which Jewel Knights are good at actually. And 2 Galatines. The Galatines are there basically because I don't have the money to fund for an extra 2 Owens, and also they're 2 10k Manillas, they're not too bad. As for the grade 1s, I'll try to rush this through as quickly as possible. Of course, I run 4 of the Jewel Knight Perfect Guards, Isolts. They're about the same as Roll Pound and Isolt, but it's basically a Jewel Knight version of her. For the Counterblast 1, gain 1k of the Urians, they're pretty good. I usually use him as a starting Vanguard, as a ride target, or if not, I'll use Shelly. Shelly is basically the same as other 10k hitters. The problem is you have to have 3 or more Jewel Knights in the rear guard, usually at turn 1. That doesn't really happen. So usually I use either her or him as my ride target, or her. I think it's both girls, actually. Most of the Jewel Knights are girls anyway. And 3, Prismy. Prismy is pretty good, actually. She can just dump a grade 3 or dump a draw trigger you don't need to draw into, let's say, your perfect guards or something else that you really need. As for the trigger lineup, it's actually rainbow triggers. You basically have your 4 heals, 4 crits, 4 stands, and 4 draws. I'm not a big fan of the stand triggers just because this deck is more Vanguard heavy, and also I don't play stands a lot. This is my first deck I'm actually playing stands, so sometimes I have to think stand trigger for the most part. But other than that, the stand triggers aren't too bad because you have a lot of 11k, 12k attackers, so it gives you a lot of variety and options to attack with rear guards first to make your opponent dump hand to guard it or take the extra damage, and then, oh look, stand trigger. But overall, the reason why I run rainbow triggers is because the fear, or the whole Saloma special counterblast, and also I have bad luck with damage checking into non-specific sub-clan triggers. Anyway, that's my deck profile for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't worry, Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos will come eventually. So, yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll check you guys later. Peace.